Welcome back for the Fractured Heart of Stathmore, episode 19. I forgot to mention something in the last video, and that's that the Avarian... You remember the Avarian race? I don't know if you do or not. Who am I talking to? Anyway, the Avarian race, one of the players, Biggins, decided to get rid of Ander and replace him with an Avarian fighter named Abdu Mibes. Joking off of Abdul Gajab, which was an accident I made for a character, as a character name. Anyway, so he joins the party, kind of saying like he wants to explore the world and, fight monsters and catalog them, or really become a pathfinder, if you will, and show them to his people, because his people live on these floating islands that don't that don't really see too many hostility. And by the way, again, a shout out to Rooster the Red, who's made the Varian race, and double checked to make sure I got my stuff right, because he is the original creator. I just adapted them for 5th edition. Anyway, the players arrive in Bosom, and Abdu decides immediately, after hearing that there is a waterfront nearby, to go fishing, because for some reason he's big on fishing. Maybe because he's a bird. Don't know. Anyway, so Lashist, Sigurd, and Drusa, with Abdu out of the way, goes house shopping. And what that means is they're looking for a place to rest while they're in town. And since Wendell couldn't quite get there, and which reminds me, there we go. Since Wendell couldn't quite get to the session, so he was asleep in the car, and then went to his own home. And Linton had randomly left. By the way, he never showed back up. I forgot to mention that as well. They decided to look at their houses and see if they wanted to sleep at any of them. So and after that, they just said, we'll just go to the tavern. To where they're met by the barkeep, who was Lenny, while he was playing cards. And along the way, Alvaro mentions, actually not along the way, this was kind of the night of, or the next morning, I don't quite remember. My notes aren't very explicit. Mentions a scourge, just no specifications, no nothing, in a place called High Burrows. Potentially undead. Nothing was heard of. So he said, okay, well, maybe we can go investigate. So yeah. So they, spend the night at the Taverly Tavern, decide to head out from there. Sigurd says his goodbyes to Lashist, and Yanok says his goodbyes. But before he leaves, he gives the party a self-writing pen. I think I termed it the pen of a billion words. Basically what this thing is, it's just a self-writing pen, and it can actually travel with the message at about 7 miles per hour, so about double the standard human walking speed, and at an altitude of 20 feet. But it can't, like, let's say someone's trapped and they're like, I need to get out. It does not go out. It basically is, if the player character is limited, so is the pen. It cannot go out anywhere that the player character could not. So yeah, so he gives him this pen, and the pen just flies right to Egan. So Sigurd, Egan was like, does anyone else want to hold on to it? And Sigurd said, yeah, I'll hold on to it. As soon as Sigurd says he's going to take it, Egan was passing off the pen, and it went right back to Egan. So this pen seemingly has like a strange mind of its own for choosing. Wasn't really intentional. That was kind of on the spot. I don't know. Anyway, so they, after hearing about the Scourge and Hyperos, with this newly found pen, which at the moment doesn't really do anything, they haven't used it for anything, they decide to head to Hyperos. The car, on the way, the car just stops working. It's like 100 miles out. And they're just like, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? and there was fuel in the trunk, and they didn't realize that they needed to gas up. They just let this thing ran apparently forever. Kidding. I don't mean to bash my players. Anyway, so they go along the way, and they had hit another problem. There's a pothole that randomly just shows up, and they crash into it. So, uh, Sigurd and Abdu, the new variant fighter, get out of the car and pull it out. Well, Sigurd was standing above the hole when that occurred, and an Ankheg just grabs him. So they fight this Ankheg. It's hanging above the ground, and then, well, early in the fight, it decides to uh, pull him into this tunnel. So it's Sigurd is in the hole with an Ankheg, while everyone else is trying to hit this thing and stab holes, and so that way they can get line of sight spells, and trying to listen so that way they can stab into the dirt. Drusa even like uses some sort of a illusion spell to shake the ground, try and scare this thing. But they eventually kill it. Sigurd crawls his way back up through the ground. Abdu stabs into the ground and lifts this Ankheg up. And yeah, so they originally think that that's the scourge that Avera was mentioning, and it doesn't really seem like anything. They took it out quick. Um, Not relatively quick. It almost took out the Goliath, pulled him into a tube like a sausage. But so they decided, check out High Burrows, and yeah, that's where this session had left off, was in the town of High Burrows. All right, hope you guys enjoyed.